Let's now talk about some current theory and research about genre analysis and how this is related to or may possibly be related to critical discourse analysis. Fairclough with his partners have been working about various linguistic choices and how they can be related to major social functions. For example, Halliday's division of functions, meta functions in a society. And he looks into the study of various textual constructions and investigated how they can be used or they are used to fulfill certain social expectations, what kind of social function they perform and why do they perform so, and what kind of social message may possibly be conveyed to the people by creating a certain linguistic construction. So linguistic construction in a typical discourse, especially political discourse, are not a combination of words only, rather they are generated or regenerated to create or send a certain message to the public or other possible audience. In this stage of genre analysis, we are particularly concerned with the relationship that is usually established with the textual construction of a discourse and the social expectations of the public or the audience it is assumed to fulfill. For example, their beliefs, their ideas, ideologies, identities, and what kind of connection can be built with the words and the ideas behind those words. In a broader understanding of Halliday's meta functions, we can assume that a texture of a discourse is gained through building a cohesion and coherence in that text. And by that we mean that a textual analysis should also consider the social expectations of a particular text it aimed to serve. If we fail to analyze a text from that perspective, probably we may not conduct a proper genre analysis in relation to critical discourse analysis. So that genre analysis would not be critical in true spirit. So instead of adopting a purely descriptive view of the textual issues or choices characterizing certain genres, genre analysis in relation to critical discourse analysis help us to see various social roles and social expectations a particular text can perform or fulfill. Genre therefore can be viewed as global linguistic patterns which have historically developed in a linguistic community and fulfill specific communicative tasks in specific situations. And adding to this, we can say they aim to perform certain social expectations also in certain situations. According to Fairclough, each social domain has an association or is associated with an order of discourse or a structured collection of discursive practices, which obviously in terms of CDA are connected with certain particular social domains also. For example, socio-political genre is quite different from academic genre of text. We have certain norms of producing text in a political genre, which is commonly known as PD, political discourse, which are almost entirely different from the kind of conventions we have or the rhetorical strategies we employ in a certain academic genre. So writing for thesis isn't, for example, is entirely different from writing a political speech or an inaugural speech of a leader. CDA is particularly interested in the socio-political aspect of genre, of a particular genre, in which the exercise of power and influence in the very definition of politics takes primacy over other concerns. So, in other words, I may say that CDA in relation to genre analysis is concerned in looking into those aspects of a genre or only in those honors which deal with the influence of power in the building and in the construction, reconstruction of the text. Shifting nature of political genres make it necessary for them to be constantly adapted and redefined. So genres do not keep a certain pattern all the time. They keep on shifting from time to time and from place to place also. A speech in a parliament may have a different patterns or conventions, and a speech in a public gathering or public procession would have a different genre demands. Therefore, they needs to be analyzed differently, and the typical concern of critical discourse analysis related to power structures or ideological structures of a society should always be kept in mind, even if we are doing genre analysis. But if genre analysis is being conducted in the sphere of critical discourse analysis or in connection with critical discourse analysis, all these concerns should be addressed. An example of the fluid and shifting character of mediatized political genres can be seen in blogs, where people develop certain domains to interact virtually with their audience, which is obviously an emerging genre in political discourse, and these days this has become a very popular form of analysis in the domains of critical discourse analysis also. And some of the analysis shows that such blogs or mediated language through social media works on the principles of mediatization and proximation, which both combine the text or ideologies are mediatized, publicized in a certain way, and then approximation is created with the audience to reduce the distance between the blogs and their audiences. So an impression is created that the author or the blog writer is trying to interact with the audience directly, and he tries to convey a certain message, real life message, in his or her own way. So there are different genres of political discourse these days. This social media mediatized discourse is one of these types. So we can analyze a genre analysis. We can analyze a genre from a political or critical discourse analysis in multiple ways. Whenever there would be a concern about ideology or power, this would be associated with critical discourse analysis.